When you walk up to the vehicle with the key, it has the full proximity system and it senses the key, so it allows you access to the vehicle. But all it does is turn on the interior lights. There's no exterior lights, there's no approach lights, nothing like that. Nothing to help you navigate the ground to get to the vehicle, or safety lights as far as parking lights or anything like that. Now when we hit the unlock button, now we have the headlights, the tail lights, but we still don't have any kind of approach lights or any kind of side lights here. It does have an off position on the headlight switch, but when you turn off the headlights like this, the vehicle's running, so you can, while you're sitting still, go completely dark. But as soon as you put it in drive, it'll turn the lights back on. Now I have the parking lights on, and check it out. It's nice LED daytime run lights here at the top, right above the headlight housing is on now. And yeah, they have like this little, like kind of like a piano effect right in here. And just have like a little bit of accent in addition to the actual functional light. Looks really good. It's a little bit subtle. You kind of have to get up on it and look at it, but yeah. And they're fairly bright. You can see them. Not overly bright. You're not going to mistake these as headlights or anything like that. Now there is an amber side marker here in the front, a red side marker here in the back, and we have the red tail lights. Not very big tail lights, they're kind of small looking, but they are fairly bright, especially on that outer part. Tag lights are also on. Now these are LEDs. The turn signal here on the front basically takes that top portion of that white light, turns it amber and flashes it. So it's not overly bright. It's bright enough to where you can see, but it's not like ridiculously bright like some vehicles. It looks pretty good. It's large, you can see it good from a distance. There's also an amber side marker here on the side mirror. It's visible from the front, the side, and the back. And then you have an amber halogen bulb back here for the turn signal. And it is amber, and it's a little bit disconnected. It's separate from the actual tail lights, so you're not gonna, so the different color, and also the actual, separating it from the brake lights and all that stuff. So the third brake light is in the top of the glass, and then the reverse lights are in the inner portion of the tail light housing. So let's go ahead and turn on the headlights here. That's the low beams, and it's going to toggle the fog lights on or off so you can see the difference here. It's closer to the vehicle, mostly the light. Alright, so it's a projector system. And they're the auto leveling headlight system, and they move back and forth, and I'll show you that when we're going down the road and stuff. So it's a projector LED headlight system. There's just a single projector on each side, and the fog light is another projector, but it also has a little bit of a accent to it as well. Looking pretty cool. Hopefully you can pick up the design here. Sometimes the lights kind of blow out the camera, so you can't really see the design, but yeah, I think you can see it pretty good. We'll step back here a little ways and check out the cutoff. So the cutoff is about 2.5 feet off the ground. Above that, I can look directly at the headlights. It's not hurting my eyes at all. And then down here is where all the light is. So yeah, 2.5 feet off the ground is what it seems like to me. Now let's switch to the high beams. High beams automatically turn off the fog lights. That's pretty typical. And basically, we're looking at basically the same thing. It's the same projector. It's just now refocused in a higher position. There may be an additional light that shines through that projector. We'll find out while we're driving. But basically, from this view, it just looks like the projectors are on and the fog lights are off. This cargo light's kind of interesting. You have a light under here, under the lift gate, and it shines mostly here on the ground, but that does spill over a little bit into this area. And then you have another light here that shines in this area in the center. Now, they both have a switch on them where you can turn them off if you want. But the way this kind of works is this is more like a ground light. It's not really that much of an over-the-shoulder light, but when I do block it, Yeah, there's a little bit of light coming this way, but not very much. Most of the light in the cargo area is coming from this center position here. The shade blocks a lot of it, so back there is all dark. This whole area back here is dark. It's this light right here helps to kind of fill in some of the dark spots, because otherwise that light would just not be adequate enough. So it's kind of mediocre, you know, more on the bottom of the mediocre scale. Could be improved as far as the lighting positions, could be more lights, that kind of stuff. But the fact there's two lights and there's one under the tailgate really does help out. So yeah, the bottom end of the mediocre, I guess. The inside of the back door, there's no puddle lights, nothing like that, no pocket lights, nothing, just a single red light so you help you find the power window switch. And the light back here is coming from the center there, and it's illuminating. With the black interior, it's just not really working all that great. It's okay, you know, you can kind of get your bearings, get in, get situated, put your seatbelt on, but as far as like, you know, exceptional light, it's not really here. Now there is some USB ports that are backlit here on the back of the console. Now there is a puddle light here on the front door. It's a halogen bulb right here. Not super bright, but it does help you find out what you're stepping in when you get out. So that's pretty cool. All these buttons here are backlit, but there's no pocket lights or anything like that. No floorboard illumination. There are some buttons here to the left of the steering wheel that are illuminated. And the lights coming from here, they're basically just the reading lights. They're just both turned on, and they're mostly focused in the lap area. So I have the door open, interior lights are on, so you can see what it looks like. Go ahead and shut the door, and you can see what we're left with here. So all the buttons on the steering wheel are backlit. They look pretty good. The stalks are not backlit. There's the gauges there. Let me go ahead and cycle through the brightness levels here. So you can see it's not just the gauges, it adjusts the screen and pretty much everything here gets adjusted when I adjust this little dimmer switch. So yeah, the screen looks pretty good. We'll go ahead and put it in reverse. You can see the camera system. I mean, it's all right. The camera's not all that great to begin with, so yeah, it's okay at night. It's about as good as it is during the day, really. And there's this light right here, where you put your device, but you notice it kind of has a reflection here because it's like a smooth plastic, and when I put my cell phone there, it just like slides around, so it's kind of worthless. But here's another thing where it's actually reflecting this kind of bright light there while you're driving. So, and you can't really turn that off. You can turn you could dim it, but then it dims everything else. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. I wish they would have had that light, you know, more light in, like, say, this compartment, because this compartment is completely dark. You can't even see what I'm doing. So that compartment is dark. I wish I had a light in there instead, or in addition to, or maybe position that a little bit better. These cup holders are dark. This is illuminated. Shifter is. Does have a light in the glove compartment. Let me turn off the interior light. Yeah, it's kind of like an orangey looking light. So above the rear view mirror, there's these tap lights here, individual kind of reading light. They kind of shine right in my face though. They're usually reading lights like shine in your lap so they don't blind you, but man, these are like right here, blinding me here. So, and they don't really do a good job of illuminating everything. I guess they help with looking in here, so that's good, partially anyway, not really fully. But yeah, it's like a light that shines in your face more than it does illuminate, like, say, the floorboard and stuff. But anyways, and there's a visor with a light, and that's a single light. It's kind of bright, and once again, it's harsh light right in your eyes. Interesting, and it's only on one side, so it's going to leave a huge shadow on your nose when you look it in the mirror. When you first turn on the vehicle, the headlights basically go through the range of motion, up and down, left and right, as like a self-test in a way. But it looks kind of cool, doing like a little dance, I guess. What would be really neat is if manufacturers would have a button where you can do that anytime you want. You know, like if you're sitting still and you're not driving and you push that button and they kind of dance around. Be kind of cool, you know, but Manufacturers don't like to do anything cool. Okay, so you can see that cutoff right there. It's a clear cutoff. And the headlights will move left and right only when you're going forward. Like if I'm just sitting still like this, they're not moving. I have to really be going forward a little bit for them to move. So as we drive, we'll see them move around. And the auto leveling part is mostly like if you floor it and it lifts up the front end a little bit, then it kind of like pushes them down. It's not like it keeps them level all the time. Another thing is, let's say you're towing something, or you have a lot of passengers in the back and it's kind of like making the back sink down, stuff like that. It's not like it's automatically leveling like you're going up and down hills and it stays level all the time. But it does as you turn the steering wheel. There's like one headlight will move to the right. Like if you're turning right, one headlight will move right, and then when you turn left, the left headlight will turn left. And hopefully you'll probably be able to see it. Yeah, there we go. You can see it. So on each headlight though has this little shadow, and that shadow is supposed to line up with the oncoming lane to avoid glare for oncoming drivers, right? But since they're moving, that shadow is moving around independently, so they're supposed to line up. Now we have two of these little shadows running around on the road while you're driving, which some people, you know, think it's a little bit of a distraction. But yeah, it's not really a big deal. It seems like they're lined up on the oncoming lane, but you know, to me, on the roads that I drive on, the headlights moving left and right, they don't really serve much of a purpose. You know, I guess some people have, you know, certain needs, but and it's more gimmicky to me, you know, the movement, because the headlights already fill in the sides of the road and all that stuff. So the fact that they're going to move left and right doesn't really, like I said, it just doesn't add much to the light in front of you. Matter of fact, it adds a little bit of a distraction because you have those little shadows moving around now. But we'll see how they go. I'll go down here on a darker road. Hopefully, there's a lot of traffic today for some reason. It's like Tuesday, and there's like tons of traffic, so I'm not sure what's going on. They're like having some kind of event or something. But yeah, we'll see if we can find a dark road without a bunch of traffic on it so we can check out the headlights. And usually when there's two projectors, just two independent lights, and there's not like an additional light turning on, the high beams are lacking. We'll see how this one turns out. Alright, so, yeah, okay, not bad actually. Alright, so there's the low beams. Yeah, you can see them kind of move up. It's actually moving up the low beams, and there's an additional light turning on through the same projector. So yeah, I can actually see the trees in the distance. I can see the road nicely. There's not significant patchiness or anything like that. Yeah, these high beams are looking pretty good. Yeah, the distance down the road is good. And yeah, the trees, the sides of the road are illuminated nicely. And the brightness is adequate. You know, it's not like super amazing brightness, but it is definitely adequate. I don't feel like squinting, or there's not any kind of like dark patches in which I would be, you know, there could be a deer or something. So let's go down to the low beams here. Yeah, I like the way that it takes that cutoff. When you put it to high beams, it takes that cutoff and actually lifts it up a little bit. So that way there's not a, you know, adds to the height of for a better distance basically. Yeah, it turns an additional light on through that projector, I can tell. Yeah, you can see that those little shadows kind of line up with my lane sometimes. Even with the steering wheel moving the headlights, you'd think that they would. Yeah, they're just all over the place. Yeah, if they were fixed headlights, I think they would actually be better. Not really. Yeah, right now the shadow's lining up on my lane, so I'm having a dark spot on my lane for some reason. So yeah, I mean, I think those are good. I think they're adequate headlights, and I would say they're probably, the high beams anyway, are a little bit better than what I thought they were going to be. The low beams are, you know, kind of a little bit iffy to me. I mean, they're okay, but they're not. It's not like a safety issue or anything. But you know, I wouldn't. Me personally, I'd have them designed a little bit different. But yeah, the high beams are, and that's where you need the most light. You know, like if you're on a dark road, you're using, and there's no other cars around, you're using your high beams because you need to see. So the fact that the high beams are the better, that's good. You know, that's the better option there. So yeah, I think I'm satisfied with these headlights. I don't, like I said, I mean, I already explained. There's the movement of the headlights do nothing for me. I really don't understand it, and it's probably just the roads that I drive on. Some people say that when you're on real curvy roads, they say in the mountains, switchbacks or something like that, that they help. I don't really understand how, but yeah. If it helps you, that's great, but me personally, I don't really care for them.